Okay, so I'm doing something a little different this time around. This is not live, I'm recording it. I haven't really thought it through entirely, but I have an idea of what I'm going to say. I kind of want this to be my basic introduction, the things that I want you to know about me. Number one, I was born in 1959, and I was born in a city called Easton that is in Pennsylvania, uh, on the on the shores of the Delaware River. That is where I was born. Now, I never really lived in that area much that I know of, because that first year is very uncertain to me. But after that, I did go to Peru until I was around 5. Then, from the time I was 5 till I was around 10, I was back in the States. And then, from the time I was 10 till I was around 17, I was in Peru. And then, from that point on, I've been in the United States. And I've sort of made trips every now and then. And then, in the United States, I've lived in different states like Missouri, New Jersey, Maryland. Uh, 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 Texas, Florida, Georgia, and I've traveled to about just about maybe 47 of the states. I've never really kept a tally, but I've never been to Alaska, and I've never been to Hawaii, and there may be another one or two that I haven't seen. But anyway, and I did that as a sort of an instructor, a presenter. I would tell or teach people how to save and invest and make smart decisions with regards to their retirement savings accounts that were offered to them by their employer in the form of a 401k. Now, I worked in the financial industry for about 18 different years, or 18 years, excuse me, and in different places, not all in the same place. And I also worked in the food industry for about 18 years or so, and in different capacities. And I did have sort of supervisory type of skills and kitchen management type of experiences. When I went to school, I graduated from the University of Missouri in 1981 with a BA in interdisciplinary studies, and I didn't have a cash-driven motivation to study. I was just studying because I wanted to study. That's not something that I necessarily could afford, but I never really have looked at. I haven't really coveted money that much. I really wouldn't be able to tell you why that is the case. Um, but that's not entirely true. So it's just a complicated thing. But I don't see it as my primary behavioral driver. And it was definitely not that in college, because I covered a lot of psychology, anthropology, a lot of the social sciences, economics, history, logic, philosophy, uh, even a little bit of computer science. But then I also did broadcasting, and I was in a band, and I did put out a record. I was playing bass, and I do have some musical roots in my family, but I never really formalized the education. I've always been the person that's kind of played intuitively, and I still like to do it. And I've actually started singing a little bit more, and that's actually how I got started with the punk bands back in the late 70s. And that was part of my musical sort of career as well, if you will, and that maybe lasted another 15 years. And it's kind of dealing with promotion and music and advertisement and different bands and different production and stuff like that. A band called, a lot of times I was sort of like a founding member, but I would always leave, and I just want to get involved in other projects. I didn't like getting stuck in anything in particular. Um, as far as that goes. Where I stand today, as far as what is my basic form of behavior? Well, one is I don't drink and I don't smoke tobacco. Those are two things that I don't do anymore, that I did do plenty of in the past, and I've certainly had my fill. But I do think alcohol is completely counterproductive, and if you've ever been on the fence about it, I would say don't touch it, don't go near it. It's not worth your time. It is very easy to have a good time where people socialize, even if they socialize in bars. I can still go, and there are things that I can drink, and they don't have to be alcohol, and they actually taste better. Um, Well, I do smoke pot, and that's not always been the case, so I wouldn't necessarily describe myself as a pothead or anything like that. I do look at it as a more of a frequency modulation type of thing, not, sort of a type of escapism, which is probably something that I did in my past. Emotionally, there's a lot of things that happen to me, that's not necessary to go into. The only good thing is that I'm in a good place now. I take care of myself. I'm not in the best of shape. I'm not in the worst of shape. Maybe better than average on Slate. And I did lose around 80 pounds in a 3-year time frame. But I don't, waste my time with any sort of artificial structures or anything like that. So, holidays are nonsense to me. They really aren't worth my time and effort. Birthdays are not worth my time and effort. They really, these little sort of creature comforts, if you will, they're not of interest to me. I don't need to be comfortable. I figure that there will be a time when I be comfortable, and that's when I will be dead. Sports and everything like that. I don't pay TV. I don't pay attention to that. I just have fun. There's things I've done in the past, like play cards. So I'll jump in and socialize with people and play cards and stuff like that. I don't watch sports. I definitely have no teams or anything that I really care about. I have in the past, but I don't need to hold on to that shit, so I don't. I really try to avoid having any favorites, anything, because I don't think it's that great of an idea to lock myself into any one particular thing. So this is, I'm in. This may be the final act of my life. I'm 64 years old, so, but I'm having fun. I'm in good shape. I have a good attitude. And I like being out there, even though there's a lot of ugliness out there. So, my saying right now is just keep in mind that the past, it's an illusion. Whatever you've heard or whatever you think is true may not necessarily be true. And the present is definitely confusion. Nobody knows or can describe exactly what's going on because there's too many things going on at the same time. And the future is a decision. It's that you make. What direction do you want to move in? Do you want to be a victim of the circumstances? Do you want to, sort of let things that are outside of you control your behavior and dictate the things that you say, do, and believe? That's certainly your option. I did that at one point in time, and fortunately, I've been able to sort of find myself, and I feel very comfortable with the force that sort of guides me at this point in time. I don't like people that the majorities that take advantage of minorities, and that's kind of where it's at. Majorities are and people that have power and wealth are. And sometimes it's not devious or malicious in any way whatsoever, but they always want more. You always want more. It's never enough. I actually had some, and I just decided, give it up, give it up. It's not worth it. It's not worth maintaining. It's just not worth the energy and the effort, and that's not where I derive joy from. I did lose my brother to suicide when he was young at 27. I was 35. Well, he was 27, and I was 33 at the time. So it was a very shocking event that actually turned my entire life around, and actually it stopped being my life for a long time until recently. So there's certainly more, and I'll post things as I sort of come along, but I'm not ashamed to, be someone that thinks and kind of puts my thoughts out there. And I think that the quality of the thoughts that I have is not bad, given that I've dedicated so much time to this. And it's not really driven by emotion or anything like that, but really more of a, kind of a critical logic of sorts. So anyway, that's it. Take care. I like to be called Bite, and you have a good one. Be safe.